that time of the year where people shop around for health insurance and adjust their benefits. Individuals and families can shop on the ACA marketplace through January 16th in most states. For health insurance through employers, enrollment periods are set by the individual workplace, but most are typically around this time. We want to zero in on one thing that you might be considering for your health insurance, and that is an HSA account, or a health savings account. Now, it's a tax-advantaged way to save for qualified medical expenses, and that all sounds great, but many people tend to misunderstand how this account works and how you can use it to your advantage. Here with 3 common misconceptions about HSAs, we've got Ryan Viktorin, Fidelity Investments Vice President and Financial Consultant. Ryan, great to have you on here with Yahoo Finance. First, I just want to read your first 3 misconceptions here. Number 1, it makes no difference where I save money for healthcare costs as long as I save. Explain why that's not true.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brad. Good to see you. So I think the important thing to understand about the advantage to an HSA is really around the tax advantages, and we call it a triple tax advantage. So unlike a brokerage account that you could just save for, your retirement costs or your healthcare costs, there's, like I said, a triple threat when it comes to HSA. So the first one is the money that goes into your HSA is pre-tax. So it goes into, before even taxes hit. Second, you can use the money in that account to pay for qualified medical expenses tax-free. And the third one is that you can actually invest in HSA so that it can grow, and all of that growth, again, assuming it's used for, qualified medical expenses down the road, is also tax-free as well. So that's the difference between a brokerage account that could be taxed year over year.
All right, misconception number 2 of 3. I don't want to open an HSA because I don't think I will use the money in my account by the end of the year. And if I leave my job, I could lose the money too. Break this one down for us.
Yeah, this probably stems from what most people have an understanding of, if they don't understand an HSA, is something called an FSA, which is a flexible spending account, different from a health savings account. So with an FSA, it is true. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you leave your job, you might lose it as well. An HSA is totally different. Like I said before, you can actually invest in HSA to grow for your, healthcare expenses or your retirement needs down the road. So it's not a use it or lose it. That money is yours. And even if you leave your employer, the money is still yours. You can keep your HSA and keep it growing for what you need down the road. So common misconception, but misconception nonetheless.
Okay, that brings us to misconception number 3, Ryan. I don't see the value in an account that only copays and deductibles here. Why is this one of those misconceptions?
Yeah, it's, again, a really common one because people really do think that it's only used for copays or deductibles. But when I mentioned qualified medical expenses, that can mean so many different things. And I'm talking, of course, things like dental plans, vision plans, but also things like chiropractor, therapy appointments, things like braces or contact lenses. It can be used for all sorts of things. And then, on average, we being Fidelity, estimates that each person in retirement will spend on average about $165,000 for healthcare expenses in general. So it's going to be more than just copays and deductibles. But let's say that you go beyond that and you don't need that amount of money. It kind of works as a 401k, where as long as you take withdrawals after the age of 65, you don't pay a penalty. The withdrawals will still be taxable like a 401k, but it can be used for other things. So, if you need it beyond healthcare, you can, of course, do that. The difference with the 401k, though, and an HSA is that there are no required minimum distributions. So oftentimes we might have lower healthcare costs early in retirement, but as we get a little bit older, we might need a little bit more support. So you can keep investing it and keep growing it for down the road. So it's a great tool.
Ryan, just before we let you go, your number 1 piece of advice this open enrollment season, what is it?
Is take a look into HSAs, right? So you can learn more. You can go to fidelity.com/YHSA. So that's WHY HSA. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask your HR representatives if it's through your employer and you have that high deductible plan and it's available to you. But also go online and research it. It's a great tool. So go look into it.
Ryan, good to speak with you once again. Ryan Viktorin, who is the Fidelity Investments Vice President and Financial Consultant. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brad.